Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you my 2020 Houston Open Hidden Gems. And this should just take about, just a few minutes of time, but I think worthwhile before you lock in those final picks and construct those lineups. Also, we'll go over ownership projection and give you the chalky. So let's do that first. So ownership projections. This is everybody that I saw that you're gleaned that was over like 15%. I believe there is also one more that's not in here. Just to note, Sam Burns was coming in a little chalky and he's below us, but that was it. All the rest were in the green. But your number one super chalky right now is Tony Finau, followed by Terrell Hatton and Sungjae M and Doc Redman and Cameron Davis. Seem to be the most, kind of right now projected ownership highest guys. So just something to note when you're building your lineups if you're looking for leverage. And there is leverage out there to get. To take a look at that. Also, I'll put in the description. I watched Scotty Scheffler's interview today from the Houston Open, just, see what I could glean from that. And the only thing really was he mentioned, and it makes sense, that because the green complexes are so new that they are very firm, and it's going to be a little tricky, getting the balls to stop. So, firing at pins might be a little challenging if you've ever played golf on hard greens, firm greens. It's a little frustrating, so it could play a little bit like the Open, we'll say, where you're landing more in the front of the green and letting it release if possible, depending, I guess, on where the pin is. But just a side note, also, he also kind of stated that hitting fairways here is a premium. And so some things to think about when you're looking at who you're going to roster from a driver perspective. And some of those guys I do have in the hidden gems, funny enough. So let's go to that. So my hidden gems for the week, all these guys fell into multiple categories that they've had some success on the Texas swing, that they've had some good recent form, and, just playing well overall. And so the first one that I found, again, and all these guys will be less than 7K and somewhere under 10% owned, projected, if not lower. But Scott Stallings, who, again, and the last one is they have a pretty good success on Bermuda greens. Now, I think there's only one that we get to that all these guys are positive that I pulled up, but one guy is just a hair neutral. But what I'm going with is on his putting, POA and bent is his worst, and Bermuda is his best surface, but still not a positive surface. So note to self. So Scott Stallings, he had a 26 T26 at Bermuda. He missed at Shriners, but again, he didn't miss by much. I think he shot like 4 under, and 7 under was the cut. Sanderson Farms hit a T6, and then a couple missed cuts before that. But again, for the price and the ownership, I'm gonna try it if I have to go down here. Scott Stallings will be on my radar. Also, Brian Stewart, kind of same thing. If you look, Bermuda and Shriners, it didn't go so well, or Sanderson, but again, if we're looking for guys that are pretty accurate, good approach players, good around the green, good putter, Brian Stewart is definitely someone to take a look at. And again, all these guys have some decent background playing. And when I say the Texas swing, again, that's the Byron Nelson, that's Valero, that's the Houston Open, also known as the Shell. So yeah, I just, like I said, these guys were just thrown on here just for happenstance. Charles Schwartzel, who I think is a great play down here, less than 4% projected ownership, less than 7K. And the ranks you see on the left, that model is just a shot gain. That's not my custom stat model. So I think Schwartzel even came in a little higher than that. But, had same thing, Shriners, didn't miss by much. But had a good showing at Sanderson Farms, Safeway, and at the PGA Championship. So for a pedigree of a player at this level, when you get down here, if you have to go down here, if you're making maybe even a 2 or 3 stud build at the top, these are the guys to look at that I think could at least get you to the weekend. None of these guys I'm picking to win this thing, but could get you to the weekend is what we're looking for. And then Rory Sabatini too, for that price and projection ownership. I always kind of lump him a little bit with Louis Oosthuizen now, of course, or maybe a Louis Oosthuizen light. He's not Louis, but he can get crazy hot with the putter. And it has had his last 3 tournaments, made the cuts, and then even Shriners where you had to go 7 under. So, something to look at there. And then Bryce Garnett, which is actually interesting. And I believe it was Bryce who I get Stewart and Garnett always confused, but I think well, you know what? I think I'd take it back. It was Brian Stewart. If you look at the Bermuda and the Shriners on Thursdays, he actually shot in the 60s, like pretty well. And I think it was at the Shriners. I think he shot a 64. And again, I might be mixing these two, but I think at Shriners he shot a 64 and then went out and shot like 3 or 4 over. So that's how he missed Shriners. But at one time he was 7 under on Thursday. So, if you're going to play Showdown for the first round, look at Brian Stewart for that. But again, back to Bryce Garnett. Right now, projection ownership less than 1%. And he's made the last couple cuts. I think his game here fits pretty well. If you see off the tee approach, around the green's a little suspicious, but he can also get very hot with the putter. So that's my 5, hidden gems that I will be, sprinkling in if I try to build a more, higher level studs and duds kind of lineup. And then just a side note, who's out, which is a little bit of a bummer. Harry Higgs, I've been rostering over here during, we'll call it the swing season, if you want to call it that. But he is out. He is another victim of the COVID-19 test. And then just KJ Choi bowed out. I don't know why KJ Choi didn't say anything about COVID or anything like that. But, he typically plays, of course, in the Masters every year. And I think he's rostered on there right now. So just a heads up. And if you're in DraftKings, you'll see the circle next to him. But I just want to point that out. So that's it. That is the hidden gems for this week. And I will be working diligently on my Masters preview show. I'm going to try to get that out this weekend so we can start, digesting what we're going to be doing with the Masters, especially for people that are already trying to put bets in. The pricing is up for DraftKings for the Masters. We know the lineup, we know everything. So I just got to get some time here set aside to do that. Well, I appreciate it greatly, and all the best of luck to all of us this weekend. And again, if you are finding value, if you're new to the show, I would appreciate it greatly if you would like and share and subscribe. We're starting to get a bigger subscribe base. We're getting more views. We're starting to, spread the word that, I'm providing good picks. Sometimes I just don't organize them right when I make my lineups, but hopefully you do. And we all keep cashing in those lineups. Oh, and then lastly, I do have newly, I set up a Twitter account. I'll put that in the description. And why I'm mentioning that is if you have any questions, anything you just want to bounce off me, if it's, for Showdown, betting, whatever it is, hit me up on Twitter. I will keep an eye on it daily and respond to you as quick as possible, to help you out with that if I can. And again, appreciate it greatly. Take care. All the best to us.